I want to start with Spurs because Tom came on. Sorry, not Tom. Henry came backstage, all giddy, all excited, all over the moon, going, "Oh, guess what, guys? We're getting a world-class winger. We're getting one of the best wingers in the world. There's concrete talks."
I didn't even say that.
Did he say it, boys?
I didn't say it was world class, and everyone can back me. I did not say that.
Did he say he was top class, world class?
He said pretty good winger.
Yeah, he's pretty good winger, but
Chiesa to Tottenham. Go on, Emery, give us the lowdown.
Well, if people who don't know, obviously we nicked their director of football before he went to prison. Paratici, who's obviously got a very good understanding of Juventus players, hence why we got their Deadwood, Bentancur, and Kulusevski. And then we've got a good understanding of the Italian market, like Vicario and Udogi and that. He's got a year left on his contract, so it makes sense for Daniel Levy because it's going to be a relatively cheap signing. But, as everyone knows, he's had 2 ACL injuries in the last 4 years. And other than last season, where he played 33 games, the 3 seasons before that, he averages 22 league games, I think, a season. So, when you look at our right side, we've got Dejan Kulusevski, who, according to the reports in the club, he could be the false 9 next season because Tottenham, the only striker that we are in concrete talks with is Jonathan David. I don't know why we're not going for Ivan Toney. But it looks like they want to bring Chiesa in for about 25 million euro, 20 million euro, something like that. The fee's cheap, so Levy will be all over that. But yeah, we're in 4 competitions next season. There's 8 games in the Europa League group on its own, 38 in the league. You'd hope Tottenham get minimum quarterfinals of both cups. Is he going to be? Has he got the knees, the legs to do a 50-game season? Absolutely not. So the other winger we're looking at, he's just as broken, which is Pedro Neto. So whoever we bring in out the two, I think both of them are huge upgrades on our right-hand side. I think we can all agree on that. Technically, they are both huge upgrades. But availability is the best ability. And if you're not available and you're broken, I mean, I don't know what you guys think. At the price, I'd take Chiesa at 20 million euros. That's at 15 million pound. He's an upgrade on Brennan Johnson. But, 5-6 games in, if that knee goes again, it's curtains. It's absolute curtains. Go on, Tom.
That 1 million quid per game that he gives you a year, that 15 games he gives you a year will be enjoyable for Tottenham. But what's the point in buying a player who is going to not last and is you're going to need to have another player there ready to step in after 2 months? Like, there's a reason Juventus are willing to let him go. There's a reason Wolves are willing to let Neto go. They should only move to clubs who have enough quality in those positions already where they can afford an X-factor type player. Tottenham need a starting level, arguably top-class winger to go alongside Son, help strengthen that attack. The moment Chiesa isn't the same player that we saw at the Euros a couple of years ago when he really caught everyone's eye. He's not that same player now. So what's the point? You're just getting someone who's injury prone and not as good as they once were because
we've already got 4 injury prone players
like them. Even if Kulusevski ends up playing false 9, the moment Chiesa gets injured, Kulusevski then has to go back to the right wing, which then means you have the same problem before of, we haven't got a striker. Why don't you just address the bigger problem, which is go and buy a striker?
You got Ivan Toney there waiting, £40 million. Like, what?
And
all jokes aside. Sorry?
His dream is Spurs.
His dream is any club above Brentford.
If Tottenham go in and put 40 million on the table for Brentford for Ivan Toney, I believe he joins. Now, Ivan Toney takes us, in terms of our ability to score goals, through the roof because he's a fantastic finisher. And then you could probably sign Chiesa as well because you'd have 3 players that can play out on the right and a goal scorer in the middle. And he puts Richarlison to the bench. We're going to start that first game of the season against Leicester with a front 3 of Brennan Johnson, Heung-min Son, and Richarlison. Now, let's be real. Would any of you...
Werner is starting for you.
Yeah. No, he's not. Son will. If Werner starts...
Why not play Son up front?
Yeah, but The problem is, Son's best ability is running through on goal and his finishing ability. We all know that.
Not against Man City, it won't.
All right, what one game of his Spurs career where he didn't play. The problem we've got is we're predictable now. I believe there's a blueprint to beat Tottenham now, and it's just sit back, bide your time, and counter attack. When it comes down to playing these low blocks, we don't have the weapons that the Arsenals, the City.
He's been predictable for 4 seasons. What do you mean?
No, but before under Jose Mourinho and Conte, you knew the game plan was to sit back and counter. And we were very good at that because we had Harry Kane, who could put the ball over the top to Son. Son's older now. We don't really have anyone that can play that level of pass other than Maddison, who's also injury prone, who will spend 3 months of next season on the sidelines. And we've all these concrete links of Eze that have come out from the likes of Ali Gold and Paul O'Keefe. Eze's now open to staying at Palace. So a lot of our main transfer targets, I don't really like at the moment. Outgoings, we've been fantastic. Like Hill's gone, Royale's gone, Troy Parrott, Tanganga Dyer, been great. But
ballers.
We've brought in 18-year-olds. We brought in a Korean who I don't care who you are, knows who Huak Tu, whatever his name is, right? Who's 18 years of age, who scored a worldie the other night. Our fan base is going ballistic. Ballistic.
You mean they're angry that you scored?
No, they're like, what?
They're going
hysterical, you mean? Hysterical.
Sorry, hysterical, yeah. We signed an 18-year-old kid from South Korea.
Can I be honest real quick on the whole Spurs situation? The thing is, yeah, by the way, Hawk to whatever it is, yeah, that's too funny, right? The reality of the situation is you guys need to start going for starters now. I think you guys need to start bringing in core players that can actually come in and start straight away, not players like Chiesa, who you would normally look to, even if you were to bring him in for this price, you'd want to bring him in as like a player that can maybe play like 10 to 15 games a season max, where he can come on for somebody and cover them and you can have a bit of skill there. But for me, I just don't think you guys are moving quick enough. Now, this is he from Korea? Or where's he from? The new guy that you just spoke about?
Yeah, South Korea.
South Korea, yeah. This Donny is one of those signings where I think you might have a star there.
We can't get into
whenever you hear about this, whenever you hear about all I've heard about Ange is, oh, look at the ones that we don't know. Look at the players that you don't know. These are the stars that he gets in. So listen, there could be something there. There might not be, but the reality of the situation is you guys aren't moving right in this transfer window. You guys aren't moving how I expected you guys to move. Well, actually, I expected you to move like this. But according to the words that that guy at the top of the tree acts, bro, this guy was saying all of this stuff like, oh, we're going to back him. We're going to give Ange the backing that he needs. He deserves it. Like, bro, he ain't giving him no backing. It's the same old shit. Just a different day, bro. It's the same old shit, different day, man. And listen, I don't think Spurs will go anywhere if they keep on going like this in the market. It's absolutely stupid of the owner and the CEO to do this kind of stuff, because if you look at the amount of money that Spurs are worth and you look at the amount of money that they generate, they should be going crazy in the market. They'd have no problem spending 200 to 250 million this transfer window, but they ain't gonna do it because the owner is just he's done you lot. Do you know what I mean? If you weren't my rival, and I didn't hate your club with every bit of me, bro, then I would actually feel sorry for your fans. But I don't.
Do you know what it is as well? Right, we've WrestleMania. I don't know if any of you are wrestling fans or whatever, or seen it on the socials. WrestleMania is supposed to be in London in the next 2 years. Just have a guess what stadium that's going to be at.
We already knew, bro. We already knew.
Levy's all over it. So when it comes to commercialising the football club, Travis Scott, Lady Gaga, a 5-day Beyonce thing, I'm all for that. If the revenue stream is coming into the club and that we're putting that money back into the team. But when you're seeing, Bergvall from coming over from Sweden, I mean, yeah, he looks a very good talent, and Mikey Moore and and Archie Gray. That's all well and good, but we need experienced pros that are going to come into the 11 and take us back into the Champions. At the moment, I'll be honest, this team 8th, 7th is where we're going to finish if we don't sign any players. 8th if we're lucky.
Tom, I don't even know why you're doing that with your face, bro. That's realistic. That's I don't know. It's not harsh, Igal.
We're
This
playing
is
a
the
game
reality of the
every 4 days.
situation.
Every 4 days
Bro,
rotation.
They're done. With especially with Europa League now coming, it's not harsh, bro. It's not harsh to say
1
that they could
second.
finish. They could
52
go
game
backwards.
season with that squad that got Bentancur broken. Van der Ven, if his hamstring goes, it is Curtin Albion, right? Flipping James Maddison's injury prone. We've got like we're so reliant on Son now. It's next season more than ever. And if he gets an injury, just pray.
What about if you guys do Project Youth? You bought Archie Gray, you bought all these young players. Maybe
Yeah, but you also need experience around the gal. You can't just rely on.
You have experienced players. The problem is you don't have young breath of fresh air in your team. You have the old guard. Bring in some young players. And Archie Gray and some of these other players you brought in, I don't think Tottenham are far off Manchester United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. I think you're really underselling your club. And I'm an Arsenal fan.
In terms of first 11, I agree.
I think your back four for next season is already set. I think I think your midfield, you can improve one more starter in your midfield and get some squad depth with young players. Your attack is where you can get a big fish to fix your attack. Striker. I think you're a striker away and a midfielder away and a couple of young players that come through from being right up there. Don't forget this Tottenham defense that you guys are that I'm talking about was looking good last year with Pedro Porro bombing forward, your two center backs getting chemistry, and your left back, Udogie, looking like one of the best left backs in the league. I don't rate your goalkeeper, but at times he looked good last year. And overall, I don't think you're that far off. Manchester United are rebuilding, Chelsea are rebuilding, and they're in a much more unknown situation than you are. We know what
I
your
get that,
team is
Agal, but 4 competitions next season and the depth on the bench, when you're bringing in Ollie Skip into the mix, when you're bringing in Timo Werner into the mix, like I think first 11 we're very good, but
what are you expecting?
First 11 can't play every single game. There's going to be injuries.
Don't compare yourself to City, Arsenal.
I'm not comparing. I'm looking at Man United and look at Liverpool, for instance, right? Liverpool were in the title race to the very, very end last season until about 4 games to go. Liverpool haven't signed a single player, but I think Liverpool, I'd be a lot more confident of having a better start in the season with no signings than us at the moment.
Like, they got the difference is they have world-class players. The thing is, I don't think you can compare them to Man United because Man United are moving in the right direction. Man United are actually bringing good quality players. They brought in Euro, who actually looks very good, but he's still a youngster, so he needs to get used to the league. They're looking at bringing in Ugarte. They're looking at bringing in De Ligt. They're looking at good players, and it's concrete like talks, and they're looking at offers and all of this. And it looks like Ugarte is probably going to come in. It looks like De Ligt is probably going to come in. So the thing is, Man United are moving further and further away from Spurs. Spurs might have been maybe ahead of them last season. And they may have been ahead of them team-wise last season, given the consistency and how consistently they won games. But now, Man United have, I think, gone past them because Man United have actually worked on their squad. They've said, these are the things that we need to tackle. These are the positions we need to fill. They filled them. So I think Spurs are just...
1 second.
If they keep on doing that, bro, youngsters is not the way forward, bro.
Man United can sign players and they can look better at doing business, but it still doesn't mean on the pitch they're going to play better than Spurs. I'm not sitting here saying Spurs are finished. I'm not sitting here. The window's not done. First of all, they've signed Ivan Toney. All you guys are going to say to yourselves, that's a massive signing. They've improved. You're just waiting for Tottenham to make a big splash. They haven't made a splash yet. They still have a lot of time. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, their transfer window is horrific. They're gonna fall off and finish 8th. That's ridiculous. You don't need that much to be in the top 4 next season. I think your team, pound for pound, is just as good as the other teams that are competing for top 4.